Welcome to Literary Lands. Welcome to Literary Lands.
All right, well, we kind of touched on it a little bit. That would be, what are your theories as to what kind of fantasy creature Amryn could actually be?
The worm, right?
She's a worm.
Yeah,
Definitely a worm.
Yep, flying
The
off
worm.
the last one.
The daughter of the worm,
Yeah.
maybe? The spawn of
Son
the worm?
of worm.
Wait, who was the person?
Amryn.
Amryn.
Amber.
I said Eldritch Horror. Like, she's like horror beyond dimensions. She rips
She's
apart
from a
space.
different dimension.
She rips apart
Yeah.
space-time around here. You can't even comprehend how terrifying she actually is.
So not like a physical form, like she becomes like almost like an idea, almost.
Yeah, something like that. Something you can't even comprehend it.
They
It's
did
so
talk
bad.
about that because the body was made from like scratch, like baking a cake, basically.
Yeah.
I guess.
Contained in this little form, like
yeah.
Frieza in Dragon Ball Z. Just like Frieza.
I'm thinking
Oh.
like Balrog from
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord
Just
of
like
the
some
Rings.
huge,
Yeah.
crazy
With the
fire
whip.
demon.
Yeah.
Yeah, drinking blood. I mean, she chugs blood. That's all she pretty much has. So like, she clearly got some stuff going on, but I don't
They've
know.
left it very vague with Amryn. Like, they've given us
why
barely
I'm
any clues.
excited.
She drinks blood and she has like silver eyes, and that's like all, and she's from another dimension.
She's
That's
small.
basically all we have to
too.
work with.
Me and-
That little guy hasn't done anything yet, and you know when he does it, it's just gonna be good.
What you got? You got anything for that one?
Maybe I'll go the other side of that Balrog thing and say she's like Gandalf.
Oh,
Just
like
like
a
a-
wizard
A
kind of.
feisty wizard.
Yeah.
A sultry wizard?
You shall not
Like-
pass.
Oh,
Like,
Throwback.
not the gray, but Gandalf the
white.
white after he's
Okay.
gone through the transformation.
Way
Yeah.
sexier.
yeah.
That's right.
True.
I like that.
Alright.
Alright. Are you actually, and this gets a little bit more meta, this is kind of fun. Are you actually enjoying the books?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
sure.
been. This last one I enjoyed a lot more than the first one.
Yeah. I mean, what I think that it set it up really, really nicely. We started to get a bigger world view, which I really liked a lot, like going to see Tarkin and the Summer Court and the Night Court and Valyria, like all that type of stuff. And like, I think we're only going to get more of that, and like just expanding the world. Like, we got the map and stuff. Like, I'm pumped about that. And yeah, and like everybody realizing lots of different cool powers. Like, it did a whole lot to like shove the story really far forward. And I'm thinking book 3 is going to be pretty sweet too. I'm excited.
I am really enjoying it, but I'm finding it hard to like keep my mind open to like other people's opinions as I'm like learning more, because when I'm hearing people saying like Tamlin still has redeeming qualities, I'm like, nope, Tamlin's a bitch.
No, he's a fucker.
Oh.
Yeah! There's only one interpretation.
And I was like a hardcore Tamlin backer at the first.
I was gonna say,
too,
you
brother.
were the one.
I was too.
I was like pom pom Tamlin team.
And
So
book one-
what changed? What made Tamlin to you be full bitch?
That he just like never listened to her. Like it was
Everyone
never
did.
about her.
it's all.
It always had to be about him and what he wanted.
And anyone that thinks otherwise.
Can just stay locked in the room.
I'm still carrying the torch that he'll be redeemed, but when he like sold him out
I
to
hope so.
Highburn, it was
Yeah.
like, God damn it.
That's,
that
it's
hard to-
son of a
it's,
bitch.
It's hard to
That
redeem
part's
yourself
hard
from
to
that
forgive
part.
because
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
you're basically they're gonna kill all the humans, right? That was like the king is like
Yeah.
very against humans.
Yeah.
Like they're either slaves
Yeah.
or dead. So he's basically said, "I'm giving all the humans
He
up."
just revealed the location of the rebel base, and that was all she wrote.
So I'll say, I mean, you guys are saying you like book 2 more. I might be more of a fan of book 1.
More surreal,
Are
actually.
you talking about it?
You're thinking
I'm
that too?
kind of half and half, but
Yeah.
I
I don't think it's
go
as much of a runaway as people
Yeah.
would lead you to believe, especially
Yeah.
from the reviews that I was looking at going into it. I think one thing I don't like about book 2, first of all, like, there's a lot going on. You guys talk about how it moves everything forward. It does, yeah, sure, but it also tosses in a lot more that maybe we don't need. And maybe like,
Gets a little convoluted.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're just tossing in a few too many pieces. And also, I think we talked about it earlier that we're just kind of adding in these devices that kind of explain everything away.
Like a
Like,
cereal?
like
or-
chapter. Well, no, I was thinking chapter 4.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
oh, that's good.
That's-
I'm talking bad.
That's necessary plot device.
necessary plot device.
But no, like chapter 54, it's just it all is like, all right, here's everything.
Yeah.
Right. And like we talked about earlier, it's 54 is everything, and then 55 is sex. Like we read 600. We need this much to get to like
Mm-hmm.
that much, right there. But it's a lot, you know?
Interesting. Okay.
And then also at the end, it's like a lot's going on, and then they explain it in like one paragraph when they get back to more. It's like, what happened? This all happened. It's like, oh yeah, because I had no idea what just happened the previous chapter.
So
There's just a lot going on in this book.
But who
It's
wrote it
very-
that way?
It's very
who wrote
entertaining.
it that way?
Next question.
Ah, okay.
It's a two-parter.
Okay.
It's a two-parter.
Scott's saying that the book summary could be chapter 4, chapter 55, or 54, 55, and then like one paragraph at the end.
A lot of filler.
I
It's
agree with
which
Scott, though,
Chapter
on-
1 to start it.
Okay.
54, 55, whatever. With the serial was in maybe 48. I don't know where he was, but then
It was page 312.
69 was the end.
Chapter
It
54.
actually kind of was, right? Like the last chapter
I
was
think
like
it was, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, then going back to the first book, it just kind of felt kind of more natural flow. Everyone thinks it started slowly, but maybe that's because I don't get down on these Fantasyland books that much. It's kind of my first foray into that, so I've really enjoyed it. It's been fun. But the first part of it, first 4 or 5 chapters of the first book, are like, you know, mortal world. I understand it. You're hunting for
the
food.
wolf.
Yeah. So I understood that. And then we get into the fairy world, and I don't know, very
Breaks are
natural progression, not bouncing around so much.
Okay. Well, to that point, you know, since you say you don't read these books often or wouldn't otherwise, well, why did you start this book club? Why did we start this book club? Why? I don't know if we should say why did we start it so much as why we continued it.
No reason in particular.
Go ahead.
For the money, right? That was
And the fame.
easy
The
answer.
fortune.
Yeah.
Fortune.
Well, you guys are getting paid.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'd say that, to be honest, I think that we could all probably say, like, this is clearly not our typical genre, not something we would be expected to read normally, like, so it's atypical. So reading this and putting ourselves through it is like different or maybe not natural. But what we found, I think, is that pretty damn good books. Like the writing style is really great. Honestly, that's one thing that definitely drives. We joke about it a lot. Like, but Sarah J. Maas, like legitimately, I read a lot of books in my life. I think you guys all have too at this point in time. Maybe not James, but
He just learned how to read.
Yeah.
but I genuinely do enjoy the writing style. There's the interconnectivity of like going back to book 1 and crazy things that happen and how it all meshes together. The world building is really cool. It's descriptive. Like it is honestly a good read. So yeah, that's why I've stayed, I'd say.
And not say like just getting out of just this book series, but just talking about like the club in general. Like I think it was a cool opportunity just for us to like sit down and
Camaraderie.
have some time,
Camaraderie.
and drinks, and share some thoughts.
Bro time.
and
Put some hands on some knees.
put some hands on some knees.
Some inappropriate touching
Chug
on
some
the
beers.
I've realized differences in the hands. Scott's hand's very warm. Sam's very cold. Just
Night
in case you
court.
were, I'm sure you were thinking
Night
about
Oh
it.
God.
night court.
Oh God.
Poor circulation, night court.
But also going back to the series, I'll say this too. You were talking about Sarah J. Maas and her style. One of my comparisons when I was first starting this book was we talked about Lord of the Rings. We talked J.R.R. Tolkien. He would explain everything. You would get like 100 pages just talking about the backstory of why this city exists. Sarah's kind of a flip of that, and I appreciate different things about both styles, but like Sarah's more emphasis on the actual conversations, the plot, moving the plot forward. So I appreciate that about her style.
Writing for a different era.
Yeah.
I'm with you mainly on the camaraderie part. That's what's kept me coming back. It's like meeting new people, meeting people you've seen a few times and getting to know them better. But
we can love ourselves over here.
but beyond that, it is like reading something different. And I legitimately got chills when she was killing those people in the cave. Like, that was so friggin' cool. I like got the goosebumps from that. I was like, man, I'm really digging this book. And so I enjoyed that. And yeah, I mean, above all else, just, hanging out with your boys and talking about books is really, that's what keeps you coming back.
With the chair guys, couch guys.
Yeah.
As we're affectionately known.